Hello, Internet. I'm Matt.
And I'm Monster Punter.
And this is the Parallax Scrolling Podcast, where we give you our perspective on video games and the news that affects them. And we back together.
Finally.
Again. Yeah. These are looking a little good right now, so let's just take advantage of it while we can.
I have a small break in this sea of work that I have to get done. But, yeah.
So, in this small break, have you been able to play any different games or new games or anything?
Not really, except for yesterday I did get to play Gloomhaven, which, if you've played the board game, you've played the video game.
That's good.
It's literally the same.
That's good, though. It's nice to have something that's similar but different, but it's also nice to actually have that. Because now you can play the game without having to worry about pieces and trying to juggle stuff. You can just...
Setup.
Yeah, setup. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
The hour and a half long process that is called setup.
Yeah. So overall, it was fun. Made some mistakes because I didn't know how to use the controls. They take some getting used to. But yeah, overall, pretty good. Just been playing Trails a little bit here and there.
Okay.
In the half hour to 45 minutes of a day that I get to myself right now.
Yeah.
So not much to talk about because of that.
Okay. Well, I'm still going at it with Tears of the Kingdom and Starfield. And, I enjoy Starfield. Starfield's fun. Having a couple issues with trying to build outposts on planets. It seems kind of difficult. Plus, all the resources are incredibly heavy, and so since there's a weight limit you have to manage, it's kind of a pain trying to manage it all. And cool thing, you can get over encumbered forever. You can go way past your encumbrance and still move around. What happens is your oxygen gets depleted faster. Well, hey, guess what? That's one of the skills. So, all the skills you learn to level up your character, after you get the first rank in them, you need to start accomplishing tasks to get them done. And one of them is literally exhaust your oxygen bar so many times. So it's okay, well, I guess I'm leveling this up all the way right now. It's just, I took 2 steps. Gotta take 2 more steps. All right, do this 50 more times. I can level up.
Jeez.
Yeah.
But Final Fantasy V where you had to get hit by enemies to make your defense better?
Actually, in Final Fantasy V, you can hit yourself.
Okay.
Which is what I did. But yeah, no, it's a similar concept. That and the only other gripe I have at the moment is starships have a limit on their crew. So the first starship you literally start with, you can only have 2 other crew members. Just 2. But I have a ton of people I need to recruit and add to my ships. But if I don't have anywhere to put them, other than the ships, they can't go anywhere. I can't put them anywhere else. And it's weird. I'm trying to manage the crew rosters. And I'm I want this guy to go here, this guy to go here. This dude can chill at base. No, he can't. He can only be stuck in the ship, and it's really annoying. So, other than that, that's... The game's fun otherwise. I also got to try out Lies of P. I'll say that again so I can enunciate that better. Lies of P.
The Souls game.
Yes, but it's actually based off of, and they even tell you this in the beginning, it's actually based off of Pinocchio. And it's a really cool concept. You are playing as Pinocchio, and you have you pick up what type of weapon you want to play, so you get to play with what style you want. But then you also have your prosthetic arm, which I guess can change over time. It can be different things. That's kind of cool. It's hard. And I mean, not hard in a Dark Souls way. Hard as in, we're trying to be like Dark Souls. And the biggest example of this is parrying is such a forced mechanic. It's necessary for you to be good at parrying if you're going to survive. You can dodge, and for most enemies, you can usually dodge, or at least in the beginning, you can just outright murder before they can do anything. But when it comes to the boss, the first boss himself, he's just disgusting in his attacks. Like, you can start to block them and everything, but you need to perfect parry in order to avoid the really big, nasty hits. You're not allowed to dodge out of the way. You will get destroyed. I think I fought that dude for at least an hour and a half when I played. And I got destroyed. I got wrecked every time. And it's just... Like, eventually, like with a Dark Souls boss, you can kind of figure out the mechanics, and then it really does come down to your button presses. This guy, it felt a little bit more uneven in that respect. So... But overall, game's an interesting concept. I'll have to give it some more time.
Okay.
But right now...
2 or 3 critical questions.
Okay.
Is Jiminy Cricket in it?
Yes.
Does...
You look stunned.
Yeah.
No, he's... So
Geppetto?
Yes.
And does he get to be a real boy?
Maybe.
Okay.
I think that's part of the ending.
Okay.
But there's also the fairy who gives Geppetto or Pinocchio life. But yes, Jiminy Cricket is called Gemini. It's spelled like Gemini, and it's a little robot in a lantern, but it's called the Cricket.
Jeez. Okay.
Yeah. So interesting take on it. Yeah. So speaking of interesting takes, cool segue. Which we're all about segues. A few weeks ago. Talked about a question I had for the community about mini-maps.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have a response. And I want to read it, and then you and I can talk about mini-maps, and then go from there. So, loyal listener, that one dude, I responded with, when it comes to mini-maps, I love them. They're always convenient to have in most games because it saves time not having to open a separate menu to see the map. Also, I'm not sure if you guys consider this a mini-map, but do you remember when some games on the DS would use the bottom screen to show the map? Those were the best in my opinion. You know, I kind of agree with that. I think having a map on a separate screen is a cool concept. With mini-maps, though, I have a love-hate relationship with them, like a massive love-hate relationship with them. Because I love that I can look at the map to see where I need to go in the recent vicinity, or have an idea of what I need to do. But way too often, and I experienced this when I was playing Diablo 4, way too often was I busy looking at the mini-map and not what was happening on the screen. Like if I'm on my horse and I'm riding around, I'm trying to get to point A to point B, I'm too busy staring at how to get to point B and not looking at all the monsters and stuff on my screen and enjoying the actual artwork of the game. So, love-hate. Like, it's a useful tool, but it could also just be a pain in the butt. What do you think?
What do I think?
Yes.
I think that it doesn't bother me if they have a mini map or not. I like them, and if the publisher doesn't want to have one, then you have to actually learn the game that you're in.
Which I think is a great concept too.
You know, thinking about it though directly, I mean, I use them a lot when they're there.
Yeah.
The thing is that it's like what you said. You can end up playing the AI, and all you're doing is playing the the UI.
Yeah, yeah.
And so it's like when I was playing a healer for MMOs online. You're not paying attention to anything that's going on the game itself.
You're just staring at your cooldown bar.
Yeah,
like, what's gonna get clicked next?
Yeah, yeah. And if all you're doing is watching the minimap to go from one place to the other in a game, does the open world need to really be open? That's my problem with open world games. It's like I don't mind it being open world, but people complain about Starfield with this. It's like if all it is, only thing that's going on is I have a time sink to get from one place to the other by running halfway across the map, then that's not gameplay to me. That's just dead time that could be used more effectively doing something.
Yeah.
And artificially pads your game time. So when you say, I've played for 70 hours, but have you really played for 70 hours? No, you've really played for something like 35 or 40. I
will say, oddly enough, in defense of Starfield, Once you find a location, like an actual significant location on the planet, you can fast travel to that spot again.
Sure.
But what also to note is while you are traveling, usually what you can do is you can scan the environment, and you can scan the flora and the fauna and resources and whatnot, and that goes towards plotting out the planet. And there's actually some missions, like side jobs you can pick up, that require you to do that. So it's like there's a little something extra to do along the way. You don't have to pick up anything. You don't have to carry stuff in your inventory. You just have to scan stuff. But it's something extra. And I thought about that with Tears of the Kingdom even. It's like, well, yeah, there's a lot of open area, but I don't know, at least for me, it's not that big a problem because there's sky towers that launch me into the sky, and then I just glide. And I'm busy flying, and I'm trying to plan my trajectory of how I'm going to land somewhere. So I'm always constantly doing something. You know, I'm not just running and holding the button down and hoping for the best or waiting for my time to get there. So I think it's getting better in that respect. But there's still games that are boring in that respect, too.
Yeah.
Which, you know what? Since you brought that up, I think that's a great question. Because I don't think we've addressed that one. How do you guys feel about open world games? Do you think... And not just the love-hate angle. Do you think they need to be more populated? Do you think they need to be bigger? Do you think they need to be smaller? How do you feel about that angle of open world games? You've heard our opinions. What are yours? Tell us in the comments down below. And if you're new here, while you're at it, like, comment, and subscribe. Woo! Get the plug in. And if you've been here a while, give us money.
Wait. We don't have a way for them to give us money. Yeah.
Just do it. Find a way. Well, speaking of finding a way.
Oh.
I'm all about my segues. I don't know why you rev it up. It's a battery-operated vehicle, but anyhow.
Folks, don't let him live that one down.
Well, speaking of finding a way, it seems that Microsoft is finally finding a way to get through all their barriers to acquiring Activision.
That's right.
In a very recent article, UK regulator grants preliminary approval to Microsoft's Activision Blizzard acquisition. I hate the fact that Activision and acquisition sound so similar, so I could easily get the words flip-flopped. And so it's a Microsoft acquisition of Blizzard's Activision. I don't like it. Anyhow. I need a minute. I'm stupid. Okay.
Don't let him live that one down.
You know what? I'm in a good day. I'll let it go. Anyhow, with the CMA giving the rights to Activision Blizzard, or okaying it because they're giving Ubisoft the rights to stream the games, and everything seemed like it was going to be okay and everything was going to go through until the UK regulatory board decided, hey, we want to say something. I believe I commented it as, after you dealing with the pit bull and the Rottweiler, now there's your Chihuahua getting in the way. Yeah. And so it looks like, a real quick update, CMA is consulting about making another final decision before October 18th. So we'll see what happens with that. But I don't know. What do you think? Is this the final hurdle?
Well, yeah. It's the last regulatory commission that they need to get agreement from to make the merger go through. Or the purchase, rather. The only reason they're able to be able to get this to work is because they're giving publishing rights to the streaming platforms over to Ubisoft. And so as long as Microsoft isn't the one owning, operating, and publishing those games over there on the streaming, on the cloud, then they don't have a problem with it. So, people don't really play on the cloud right now. Now, things may change in the future, but
look what happened to Google Stadia.
Yes.
I mean, that's a perfect example. People aren't at a place where they want to do cloud gaming like that.
Now, the NVIDIA solution is better than the others so far because they have the NVIDIA Reflex in there. And so if you use their platform to play Steam games, for instance, you can have a lower latency experience that is, from what I understand, somewhat very comparable to locally playing, as long as your internet connection is good, of course.
Yeah, that's the thing, is I think we need to figure out the internet angle before we figure anything else out.
Well, that's always going to be the stick in the mud part of this.
I think so too.
But now AMD has Anti-Lag Plus in their latest video cards and video drivers that use the AI accelerators that are in the new AMD video cards as well. Now, that's something that the PS5, the Xbox Series, they don't have any AI acceleration built into them. That came out after, from the AMD side of things, since they're using AMD technology, came out afterwards. So you're not going to be able to get a good streaming experience out of those things at all. And so streaming won't even be a thing for probably at least 5-10 years, in my opinion.
I think so too.
If at all.
Yeah.
If at all.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And then you have old fogies like me who like to still own their games physically because, spoiler alert, you actually own it then.
Yeah, the law says so.
Yes. And so, do I want to see the death of physical games and everything be digital and stuff like that? No. I mean, I recognize the advantages that digital can bring. I'm not that stupid to say that digital equals bad. It just means, and it's not for me when I have the choice.
Right. Digital doesn't equal bad, but neither does physical equal bad. There's a value to both of those options. Yeah. So
anyway, but I'm getting off topic.
Yeah, no, but I think it's good to bring it up, and so we'll see what happens with. Obviously we'll keep an eye on this. Hopefully this will be the end of it by the end of maybe by the end of October. We'll actually see that the acquisition's finally gone through, and that they've officially decided that Bobby Kotick needs to be drawn and quartered or something of that nature. I don't know, but either way, that's good news. Hopefully for Microsoft. Especially despite everything that's been happening in recent news with their... What happened?
Oh. The Xbox leak. But before I get into that...
Okay.
It'll be good to see Bobby Kotick leave the industry. I just hate that it's going to be on a golden parachute.
Yeah, if anybody has a way to, cut the ties on the parachute, that'd be cool.
Well, and it does give me some solace that apparently he's having trouble finding love because people find...
Oh, that's been happening for the longest time. Yeah.
So at least
okay, I'm going to say this. I'm all for love, and I don't want to spurn anybody from that love. But, Bobby, if you think going on the internet and telling people not to make fun of you and draw pictures of you with devil horns... because you're doing something terrible to them is preventing you from getting a girlfriend, you really need to reevaluate yourself.
Long story short, the internet always wins.
Yeah. Plus, telling the internet no means that they're going to do it.
The internet always
So don't
wins.
give us money.
Don't fight the internet. The internet always wins.
Yeah.
Okay, so getting into those leaks, speaking of not, winning as in the opposite of.
Yeah.
Microsoft leaked a bunch of information out, and it's been all over the news. I'm sure the vast majority of people who are listening to this have already... gotten some sort of news in that from this already.
Did Microsoft leak it, or was it just leaked?
Microsoft did leak it. It was a mistake. That was an upload to their website.
Okay. See, I didn't understand that. I thought somebody did another GTA 6 leak or something. Okay, cool.
Yeah, so they... that was Microsoft's fault. So everybody's going on about this Microsoft buying Nintendo bit. And Microsoft already... Some people seem to forget that Microsoft already tried to do so.
Yeah.
And they got laughed out of the room, which... Okay, Microsoft was new into the game. It's 20 years later. Microsoft is still Microsoft.
Yeah.
I mean, is it possible? I mean, there could be a hostile takeover if Microsoft really wants to. They could just go out in the market and just buy all the shares of Nintendo to the point where they own it, period. Now, there's laws and stuff in Japan that they would probably still have to overcome. But fact of the matter is they can probably still do it hostile.
And here's the big thing, too. If the Microsoft leaked an email that says that they wanted to buy Nintendo. Ooh, that's such a big deal. I almost guarantee you that in Nintendo headquarters, in Sony headquarters, and Steam headquarters, there are emails about, hey, we want to buy the other companies.
Well,
we want to buy the other big dogs because then we're the only big dog.
I'm sure Sony's thought about it.
Absolutely. Too. So don't be sitting here giving Microsoft a hard time because they ain't the only ones.
All I'm going to say is, if Sony or Microsoft buy Nintendo, maybe their games will be less than $60 5-7 years after release. Gosh, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is still $60.
Mario Kart 8 is still $60.
God, that endlessly makes me mad that those games are still.
And you know what that means? If Microsoft were to have actually bought Nintendo, that means that we might actually see Mario Kart 9, Mario Maker 3.
By the way, the last expansion for Mario Kart 8 is coming out again. So we'll see if this is if another final expansion comes.
You can't see it, folks, but he's doing the finger quotes bit. It's funny.
Hey, here's something that no one saw coming. Bethesda's working on another Oblivion game. Next.
Well, not Oblivion game, remaster.
Oh, the remaster. But
yeah, so you know what that means?
Sorry, I meant Elder Scrolls.
Yeah, so you know what this means? There probably could be another Skyrim remaster right around the corner.
Oh, man, dude. As long as they remaster it for Alexa, I'm in.
Dude, no, they're going to remaster it for toilet paper.
I'm in. It's those old reading machines where you had the little the punch outs and you had to feed them through the punch cards. Yes. Yeah. I'm
just thinking Skyrim toilet paper. Be Dova clean.
Oh gosh. Oh my gosh.
Oh man.
Stupid Invaders. I don't know why I'm getting off on this tangent, but Stupid Invaders on the Sega Genesis. I think it was a PC game circa 2002-ish or the early 2000s.
Yeah.
You get locked in a room and you needed to get out of a window, and someone actually put like stainless steel toilet paper and it's like industrial strength butt wipe, and you're supposed to take this toilet paper and use it to get out the window. Anyway, I found it amusing.
That's funny. That's funny. Hey, speaking of stupid but amusing, keep going with the Microsoft leaks.
Here's something that's really, really fascinating to me, is that it says 3/4 of Xbox gamers had a Series S. Now, granted, this is a year ago that this information is. It's a year.
That's great, though.
I think the Xbox Series S is an okay machine.
Yeah.
Is it
I love
great?
My S.
Is it great? No, well, not compared to a PS5 and an Xbox Series X, but it fills an entry point. It gives you an entry point into this generation if you don't have the money.
Right.
And I think that's good. It serves a certain fan base. And considering how expensive gaming is getting, think about this. I mean, like, people want to, talk about PC gaming and it taking over. I think they're two different markets, personally. And there's plenty of gamers out there that don't want to pay $500 for a video game console or more for a gaming PC, and are perfectly fine just paying $300.
Well, and I think so. As a owner of a Series S, I can easily say it's a Game Pass machine.
Yes, it is.
Absolutely, it's a Game Pass machine, and there's nothing wrong with that because I love it. I love being able to play new games. It's the one way I get to play new games most of the time right now. Because I just can't afford to spend my funds on brand new games because I got other bills and things like that I got to take care of. I got to be an adult. So it's nice to be able to I can give these guys a few bucks a month and I get to play brand new games or games I missed out on and I get to play them for free. And then if I want to buy them later, I can buy them at a discount. Granted, you have to do that right away, but
Quick question.
Yeah.
Between your PC, Xbox, and PlayStation. Which one have you played the most this generation? And Switch. Which one have you played the most this generation so far?
This generation?
Yeah.
PC.
Well, let's just back it up to... We'll just count the Switch and everything since 2020.
Since 2020. I still say PC.
Okay.
But I would say console-wise, probably my Xbox. And granted, I have the Switch, and I've had the Switch prior to 2020, and I got the PS5 recently, within like the past couple of years. But I would say I play my Xbox the most out of the consoles. But that's, again, I have access to free games, and I don't have access to just a few at a time, like PS Plus lets me do. I have access to a massive library of games.
Yeah, and granted, you can pay more to do Sony's version of that too.
Yeah, but I have to pay more, and that's not Game Pass. I just pay. And the only reason I pay for Ultimate is not because I get access to more, because I don't get access to more in that respect. I get play it so I can also do stuff on my PC with my Xbox. So that's the win. That's just the win there.
So I found those are a couple of things. I mean, this has been talked about in the media to hell and back.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to hit on a couple of things that kind of stood out to me.
Yeah.
So,
absolutely.
I think also, speaking of just things that have been interesting to me, NVIDIA did release DLSS 3.5, which is the...
We talked about that before, yeah.
Yeah. Now, it's been reviewed.
Yeah.
And if just to refresh, DLSS 3.5 is ray reconstruction. So this is your ray tracing reconstruction. It replaces your filter, the denoise pass on the ray tracing side of things. So what happens is your GPU sends out all these rays, they bounce around, it comes back. If you don't denoise it, it's just a bunch of little points and circles and things like that that hit your screen. It's very noisy image, and that's what the denoiser does, is to make it look like actual graphics after the fact. And so now NVIDIA has an AI version of the denoiser, and in some ways it's better, some ways it's worse.
In layman's terms, it make game prettier.
The thing that gets me is like when I was watching Digital Foundry and other things kind of go over it.
Yeah.
Like they're zooming in and they're doing all this stuff that's like, they're calling it like a revolution there in how games look. But for me, it's one of those, if a lot of the things you have to do is zoom in to see the difference, and if you were just playing the game normally and you wouldn't really notice that it's actually different, how much are you going to really appreciate it? I don't know how much this is going to matter, at least in the short term. Long term, we'll see. I guess maybe video gaming will eventually just be ray tracing for 3D games anyway. I don't think you could do it with 2D. But yeah, it's good, but it's not. And obviously, if you don't own an NVIDIA video card, which is something I don't own an NVIDIA video card. I don't have access to this right now, so I can't really give a personal opinion on it.
Right.
But, there's definitely that while universally they seem to appreciate it, there are some things still to iron out on it. And it's only in one game right now. Yeah. And the developer has to purposefully work it into their game.
Well, and I think the other thing to keep in mind is if they're zooming in 200, 300% to talk about the difference, that's not impressive. That's not revolutionary.
Well, it depends on.
I think it's a matter of if I can just show you the image at normal vision and how different it is, that's revolutionary.
Well, the denoiser does get rid of some of the fine details, and that's what they're trying to preserve with the new one.
Well, and that's fine, and that's great.
Some of that finer detail you have to really look to see.
Right, but I don't think people like Digital Foundry should be going forward saying this is groundbreaking, revolutionary. Oh, it's an improvement, yes. Is it revolutionary? No. That's my opinion. Take it as you will.
Yeah.
So
now to finish things off, because we have somewhere to be.
Well, we can say you got that. I got one more thing after this, so go ahead.
So there were between the last time we talked and now there were 2 directs. Well, there's the Nintendo Direct and the Sony State of Play.
Right.
So I just want to talk real quick. The Nintendo Direct, the only thing that genuinely caught my attention that could be kind of cool is the F-Zero 99.
It's already out.
I know. I need to go play that.
Yeah, it looks fun. It looks fun.
That looked fun, but like I said, I haven't had much time.
Right, yeah. Huh.
But other than that, I mean, it's just it looks like a lot of just Nintendo properties that if you know you like Nintendo, then you're going to play these. So.
I will say though, getting to actually see the Princess Peach game and what it was actually going to be like was really exciting. So I was like, oh wow, so I actually get to understand what's happening with her. She's at a play. She's going to have different powers based on different sets and things like that. But it was also part of the fact of, and she's not taking no guff. She's going to draw a sword and cut some people. Like, it was like, oh, Princess Peach going to get violent in here. She's a kung fu master at one point. I mean, this is like really cool. I think it's going to be a fun game.
We'll wait and see. Actually, there are a couple things I want to say. Like, Euden Chronicles, the 100 Heroes, that's supposed to be the spiritual successor to Suikoden. Looks pretty good.
Yeah.
And then there's Unicorn Overlord, which...
that name just sounds awesome.
It's Vanillaware, and it's supposed to come out on basically all systems, so I will not be getting it for Switch.
Yeah, but we... Take it from some veterans in the gaming industry. If Vanillaware is getting involved in a game, you need to pay attention to it.
It looks beautiful.
I don't think I've seen a single Vanillaware game that is not beautiful and actually worth playing.
Vanillaware is up there for me. I like them quite a bit.
Absolutely.
If you have not played Odin Sphere, it's available on modern platforms, specifically PC and PS5 and PS4.
Right.
Play it.
Play it. That's a double endorsement from both of us. Play it.
It is. Oh man, I love that game.
Who's your favorite character?
You have to go with the Bunny Man. you gotta do it. I forget his name right now.
Yeah, no, but it's like Cornelius or something.
Yes, that's
Cornelius.
Yeah.
Cornelius is the bomb.
Yeah.
He's the coolest character. Honestly, when you take a little animal man and you make him like the most noble character in the game, there's just something magical about that. Like, I go back to Chrono Trigger and Frog, and just like that archetype being carried forward. It's like, yes, that's the character you're going to enjoy the most. So
I'm very much looking forward to Unicorn Overlord.
Yeah.
The last game that they brought out, which was 13 Sentinels, I love 13 Sentinels.
Yes, you do. I will say I'm not a big fan of the gameplay, but the graphics are beautiful.
It's basically an interactive novel.
Right.
And I found the story overall to be like, you think it's one thing, and then it's not that. It's this, but it's not that. It's what is going on here? And by the end, it all makes sense. And it's still a crazy game. And I loved it. Absolutely amazing. I will be playing that through again at some point.
Okay.
Definitely awesome. The PlayStation State of Play had a lot more games in it that interested me.
Yes. Especially that Baby Steps. That totally got you.
Oh my gosh. No.
For those of you who don't know, Baby Steps is the next iteration in Bennett Foddy's plan to torture your fingers forever.
Literal walking simulator. Literal walking simulator. That's all you need to know about Baby Steps. Although the humor does look interesting.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. We'll just start out with the big highlight.
I am purposely blinding myself to trailers on this because I did the same with Remake. And I'm going to stay that way because I'm going to thoroughly enjoy the experience when it comes out.
Okay. Let me tell you this much. There seems to be a melding, at least from the way the trailer's looking, a melding of the timelines going on.
Okay.
So there's going to be multiple realities. And I think the original Final Fantasy VII game being just one of those.
Okay.
And so it looks really interesting. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
The Resident Evil 4 DLC looks great. Going to get that. And the fact that they're going to have a VR mode. I'm excited to play the VR mode as well.
Okay.
I will get you to play the VR mode.
No, you won't.
Come on.
No.
Come on.
Nope.
You will.
Nope.
Spider-Man 2.
Yeah. Enough said.
Yeah. You know what? I was never a big Spider-Man fan at all.
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason I even gave Spider-Man a try is because I bought my PS5. There wasn't a whole lot of PS5 games that are out for it at the time. And I was like, okay, I get the original Spider-Man that was on PS4, and I also get Miles Morales. All right, fine. I'll give it a shot. Loved them.
Oh, yeah.
And so, very much looking forward to Spider-Man 2.
So, awesome. That's going to be fantastic.
Yeah. So, really looking forward to that. The one that surprised me the most is, interestingly enough, as the show was going, I'm like, man, I'm thinking to myself, how long has it been since we had a Tales game? It's been at least a couple of years? It's been a couple of years, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think we're about due, aren't we? And then, 15 minutes later, Tales of Arise, Beyond the Dawn.
Which we have discovered is an actual DLC, not another game.
Well, it says it requires it, yeah. So I would just presume it's DLC.
But that doesn't mean that the DLC is not itself a full-blown story like the original Tales of Arise.
Yeah, who knows how big this really is and how expensive the DLC is going to be.
Right.
The fact of the matter is that it's actually a sequel to a Tales game.
And it's one that they said was not going to happen.
Yeah, the end of that game kind of left it as if there was never another Tales of Arise.
You're fine.
They basically closed all the loose, or tied all the loose ends. And I thought it was done really well. One of the best RPGs I played that year. And, it's not my favorite Tales game. That still is Abyss. But
this is definitely up there.
It's right there, very, very close.
Yeah.
And so those were the ones that kind of...
Everything else is kind of like stuff we already knew about and not very interested in.
Well, stuff at least I'm not interested in.
Yeah.
I'm Avatar, okay. If you like Avatar, have fun playing Avatar.
Whatever.
Honkai Star Rail, have fun playing that if you like it. And if you want to pay Sony lots of money to put a different skin on your PlayStation 5...
Oh, yeah, that too.
Then, you can do that too. But I won't.
All right. Well, we got one last story, and then we're out of here. And it's actually an update from when I was talking last week. So, following controversial changes, Unity unveils revamped policy for developers. Yay! And actually, it's not terrible. So, if you heard me from last time, their original plan was to charge 20 cents per install.
Yep.
To every Unity user, period. That didn't go well, did it? No. So, here's the current changes, right? Any game made with prior versions of Unity, including the current 2022 LTS, will not be charged. All right? Only games made with Unity Pro or Enterprise levels will be eligible for the change. If you're using the bare minimum, like the bottom two levels of Unity, you do not get this applied to you. You still have to pay your fees or whatever, your normal fees. But if you're going into, again, Pro or Enterprise, you have the option to take on a 2.5% revenue share, which is honestly much better than the 20 cent install.
Yeah.
And, it's... Here's the open letter. I'm going to read the open letter, and then I'm going to end with my thoughts on this whole thing. So this is from Witten, the guy who kind of put it all out in the first place. And he writes, I want to start with simply this. I'm sorry. We should have spoken with more of you, and we should have incorporated more of your feedback before announcing our new runtime fee policy. Our goal with this policy is to ensure we can continue to support you today and tomorrow, and keep deeply investing in our game engine. You are what makes Unity great, and we know we need to listen and work hard to earn your trust. Yeah. Should have done this in the first place. In fact, let's see. Dylan Rogers, who's the developer for Gloomwood, he went on Twitter. He said, you can't promise away the notion that you won't quietly remove important clauses from the TOS after you've already tried it. That damage is permanent. And you know what that reminds me of? When Xbox did the whole Kinect always on fiasco. Yeah,
I mean they did remove it,
but it did cause mistrust in the company, you know, and I think Unity's going to have to deal with that now.
Yeah, we'll see.
So obviously we'll keep more tabs on this if it really needs to be kept tabs on, but other than that, we're really done. If you guys got anything you want us to talk about, tell us in the comments. Like, honestly, that whole Unity story, that was brought to my attention.
Yeah.
So thank you for doing that. And put it in the comments, guys. Talk to us. We want to talk to you. So,
all right.
With that, we're going to get out of here. Have yourselves a fantastic week. Enjoy your games. And we'll see you guys in the next one.
Take care.
Later.